on the map is what we eventually want to get. And all the only determination there is where we're going to go first. Okay, and that's determined by how many employees or how many applications we have. That's all that it is. Hello. Thank you. How are you? Shoot.
Verify the service charge. In Milford, I understood a meter charge per month.
Right.
And then another charge for the line coming in that would go for 10 years.
Yes, and it's the same here. There's a meter charge of $20, then there's the CPAC charge, which is the construction charge that goes for 10 years. It's a rough estimate based on how much gas that you use. So I think it said like 30 cents per TCF, which is just a fraction of the bill, but it's still all included in those discussions. An average figure? No, I don't. I don't want to guess and misspeak.
That was $20.
No. There's a $20 service charge. That's going to be there regardless forever. Okay, every single month. But then there's an additional charge, 30 cents per CCF. So if you use 1,000 CCF in your house, it would be $30 a month. If that makes sense.
$20 and $30 plus the amount of gas that you use.
Yes.
$50 that you're paying before you buy your gas.
As an estimate, yes. That's as an estimate, absolutely.
Okay. Now my other question is.
Now you got to remember, in the summertime, if you're not using any gas, you're not paying that CPAC charge. Okay. But again, it's just an estimate.
Okay. The other thing is, a number of us are concerned about radon.
Sure.
And I wondered if you would give us a range of hypocuries.
Well, I'm not.
In our
we have problems with our roof stove there.
I cannot. That would be a Russ or Matt question. In the end, like you said, they take a sample every month as some type of requirement, and they'll test for whatever it is that Pennsylvania requires us to test for.
Now, who does that test?
I'm not sure what laboratory it is. I don't know off the top of my head.
Is it done when the gas is put in their pipe?
I don't. You know, that's another good question for us. I'm not sure where they're going to take the test, but I'm sure it would be out of our distribution system if it's our test. Yes.
Because the gas that you're going to be using for these towns will be coming from gas from these towns.
Yes.
So that's the gas that I would assume you tested.
Sure. Certainly. It would be the gas that we receive out of the distribution.
Now, is the test going to include the radioactivity rate of hypocuries?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. To be honest, that is. I'm not sure that.
Is that retired?
We can. Yes. I can ask us. Yes, we can. I don't know.
People who would like to use gas because they feel it's cheaper.
Are concerned about the radon?
Yes.
I agree.
So,
all we have.
Again, it's awful cold down there. You know what that's about. It's about 40.
We don't have the ability as a company to test for any type of radon. Okay? We do what Russ said is take a sample of gas and ship it to whoever the regulatory body is. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that right now. But
you yourself take the sample that you're going to
we'll provide a sample. Yes.
Well, did I ask you to do this question?
If it comes out of our distribution.
Down in the basement with you, so I have to hear it.
That's right.
Sure. Yeah. No, you did. I have no idea. Unfortunately.
Because I've heard that it's pretty high here.
I have no idea. Sure. No, I agree. I think Russ attempted to answer it. It's been relayed to us that it is a non-issue, that the levels of radon in any of the gas around here are so low that it's.
Who relates that to?
I believe Russ said Williams.
Thank you very much.
You ladies have a nice night.
Yeah. Thank you. And your name is Rich Thrasher?
Thrasher, yes, ma'am.
And what's your position?
I'm in sales.
Sales?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Supplied by the industry.
Sure.
so their figures and their median is a certain number.
Certain.
But then there's another sample done. New York City was very concerned.
Sure.
And they talked about another test.
Folks have been saying, I'm Rich Thrasher.
The Cooper Union.
It's from who?
The Cooper Union.
Oh, Cooper Union in New York City?
Yeah, they did
And what did
a
they,
conference.
and what did they find in
They
Marcellus?
said that, well, they said that the average levels at the wellhead is 150 to 160 picocuries per liter.
That's from Marcellus.
Yeah. The U.S. Geological Survey did a limited survey, and they found a median level of 37, with a high level of 79 at the point of extraction. That would be at the well. The samples were chosen by the industry, and there can be a variation in well radon readings. But then another study showed, and I'm not sure whether this would be EPA or somebody else, much higher levels, making the 125 picocurie per liter reading that they showed below in New York City more understandable.
All of those houses.
And you can hear about this on the first two parts of the Cooper Union video program. So,
Then transit time, what is
yeah, so
transit?
this is all what they're in New York estimating, that the transit time from our Marcellus region, our gas here to New York City, is approximately 15 to 20 hours, making the radon levels approximately 105 picocuries per
125, yeah,
depending on the numbers used at the source.
In the end, ladies, you have to talk to Russ. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that information.
So, but meanwhile, we don't have any transit time here,
That's right.
right? It just goes directly from here. Is this Russ right here?
This is Russ.
Hi, Russ.
Hi, how are you?
We have another question about radon.
Okay.
If we can get, so you got a response from Williams that said did they give you an amount when they said it was negligible of the radon in the gas? That's what you stated, I think.
No, yeah, I did. They didn't give us a specific amount. They just said it was negligible to the point where they couldn't measure it.
They couldn't even measure it. But meanwhile, we have U.S. Geological Service measurements about the radon, Marcellus radon here. We have figures that show, what, about 100...
Let's see. Well,
A median level.
One study said that the wellhead had 150 to 160 picocuries here.
I've read that study. All I can tell you is that when I talked to the people from Williams, they told us it was.
Well, can they give you anything in writing, what the amount is? Did they test it, or is it just their word? Can we get something in writing?
We probably can, yeah.
Because we have natural radon here that's...
analysis that shows what's in the gas. What they're telling me is basically the measurements they've taken in their gas stream, the radon is unappreciable. So if we were to get more specific than that, to go back.
Yeah, but can they give it to you in writing? I mean, they're saying it to you.
Surely can.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you could have some kind of technology that you can take continuous readings?
I'm sure.
So you'll know what the
there is.
variation is, and if there's a spike, then we might know about it. And
I'm sure there is. And, you know, it's all has to do with how much money people are willing to spend. Now, my point would be, obviously we don't want to send anything to anybody's home that's going to harm them. But history has indicated that we don't have extremely high levels or levels that we should be serious about, other than potentially incidental exposure. And when we look at the northeastern United States or even the mid-Atlantic United States at this point, the majority of the gas in the pipeline are all from shale formations. You have the Barnett Shale, you have the Fayetteville Shale, you have the Utica Shale, you have the Marcellus Shale. So, you know, I'm not someone, as you are, who blindly accepts what people tell us, especially if they're from large government organizations or large corporations. But by the same token, I find it hard to believe that our government and these large corporations will allow us to poison our own population when the majority of the gas that we're all receiving now is coming from a shale formation that's been hydrotherapy.
yeah, but if it's coming from Texas and Louisiana, their shale, the level of radioactivity
Could be sometime, but not.
much lower.
Well, I think what you're indicating is that in each independent shale formation, the level of radioactivity is homogeneous. And because it's Marcellus shale, if I go to the Marcellus shale outside of Pittsburgh or the Marcellus shale outside of Susquehanna County, I'm going to have the same level of radioactivity.
No. I don't
Well, I mean, that's what I'm hearing from you. You're saying, I think you're implying that all Marcellus shale has a higher level of radioactivity.
I'm saying that the radioactivity in the Marcellus shale is higher than the radioactivity in the shale in the west and southwest.
But again, what you're indicating is that all Marcellus shale has a higher level of radioactivity than Barnett or Fayetteville.
I think that's true.
But I don't know how we can say that. I think we can say in some areas maybe there's a higher level of radioactivity, depending on the specific characteristics of that Marcellus shale formation.
I think you're
Than
right.
other
There is a
areas.
variation
So we
in
can't.
Marcellus.
Not that anybody has quantified or qualified that the Marcellus shale radiation level from radon is unacceptable. But I don't think that we can say on a whole that Marcellus shale gas has a similar radioactive radon signature across the entire formation. I think some areas may differ from others. My point being is, I don't have that number. You want me to get a number, I'll go back to Williams and get a number from you. And when I have it, I'll be happy to share it with you.
We can find out
Did you guys get a magnet?
what the mercury level is in the gas that comes from here that we are going to be getting.
From here. And then couldn't we also test our own homes? We could have testers in our homes and we can see the level that's coming in.
I'm sure you could again, but we're talking about putting equipment in your home that's probably very expensive. And if there's an identified need to do that, certainly it's understandable, but I don't think that need has a benefit.
Not so much for you to do. We could do it ourselves.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not that expensive. I saw that there's actual meters that you can plug into the outlet, and it would test the microcuries. And it would tell you what the level is, like before you get installed. And so you have a baseline, and then after you get installed, and see if there's any kind of a spike that's over the minimum amount.
I think that that's a great idea and a great application, a great device if you can get it.
Yeah, they
The
exist.
thing that I worry about is the level of accuracy in a device like that. Typically, things that you can buy, say, and I'm not saying you're going to get it at Home Depot, but things that you can buy from a retail store that monitor anything have a lower degree of accuracy compared to the
Well, that's possible. So at least if we saw a spike, we could then contact you, your company, and then you might be able to get something that's more sophisticated, or an agency or regulatory agency, get something more sophisticated and test it and see if it's accurate and what the accuracy is.
We definitely could do that, but I think that historically, within the industry, and obviously there are varying opinions on this, but within the industry, the prevalence of high levels of radon in a gas stream have not been identified to be significant enough to warrant the industry changing the way that it monitors things. It doesn't mean it won't change in the future. And as I said earlier, we don't want to be in a situation where we're providing a product to people that's going to be harming people.
Right, but the gas that you're dealing with in New York is not Marcellus.
Yes, it is.
It is Marcellus?
The gas that we're dealing with in the entire Northeast, the majority of the gas in the pipeline
Yeah.
is Marcellus
Okay,
shale gas.
so the
And
gas...
Corning Natural Gas is the only utility in New York State that has a direct connect to the Marcellus shale gas.
So you're having Marcellus gas right now in New York State, but is it being mixed with some other gases from other areas, or just Marcellus?
It's being mixed with other gas, but that other gas that it's being mixed with is predominantly Marcellus shale gas. This gas is coming up the Dominion pipeline, up the Tennessee pipeline, up the Transco pipeline. They all run through the middle of Marcellus shale country, and they all take...
So you haven't tested anything in New York at the homes there and the connections that you have there for the radon? Have you done any tests at all?
We test the gas. We do a fractional analysis on a monthly basis. We know what's in the gas stream, and we've had no reason to check for radioactivity in the gas stream.
So you haven't checked for
We
radioactivity?
have no reason to.
No reason to?
No regulatory body requires us to check for that.
And no regulatory bodies requiring it?
Right.
That's interesting. And your name is again?
My name is Russ Miller,
Russ Miller, and your position is?
VP of Gas Supply and Marketing.
Okay, and then you can maybe get back to us on Williams. I can give you a contact information.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the interview.